top of the morning, top of the night, whatever the case may be. My name's Ben Matthews, aka Ben Time Traveler. I am who I say I am. Your alien government within ain't who they are. Trust me on this. I know them by their names. It's kind of why I'm coming out here today to make a video because things are getting to another level and just need to discuss some things, you know? It's I always want to show you them shiny objects and look over there. And they always want to tell you the truth. And there's a reason they tell you the truth. Is because you just forget about it. I mean, you won't forget about it. Excuse me, I didn't mean like that. You'll just say, oh yeah. Like take, for instance, what they're doing above your head and shit, spraying. Can't say the word because the algorithm put a lie underneath my truth video. But y'all know what I'm talking about above your head and shit, right? It's told you this for all these years and shit, and people are just become accustomed to it and just figure, okay, instead of standing up for their rights as a human being, a human species. And that's just one example. There's so many of them, and it's a program to not only mind up you, but to just plain out, man, control you and trick you, man. Think about here's another incident. Think about the airports in all them days that there was nothing but chaos there, and then all of a sudden, one day, it was all gone. It just disappeared. No, let's not talk about that no more. Now, here's another example. They don't even talk about the Russia-Ukraine war anymore. It's just, I mean, honestly, when you're looking at something on YouTube and shit, or whatever socialist platform you're on, you're not hearing nothing on the mainstream news about the Russian and Ukrainian war. Not at all. Iran, that little drip, 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 drip. That's just becoming a non-talkable thing. And for politics, it is. And we'll talk about the politics here in a minute, man. I know that you ain't supposed to talk about politics and religion, but we ain't in a bar, man. So I think most of you can handle it. But Epstein files gone away, not talked about. Politically, they are, to try to make one side look bad, whether it's the left or the right, because, that's another thing, man. There's lefties and there's righties, man, that were involved in shit. There's, and they just think about it. And let's get, before we get into the politics of shit too, man, let's get into the evilness of a group of aliens that are upon your planet that were controlling certain people like Epstein and shit, and drinking the blood and eating the babies, which, don't you find that just totally fucking, excuse my mouth, totally fucking sick? Beyond a human being, the human species, it's what is that? That's an animal instinct, animal behavior that they are doing. And you, as a human species, with the love of God, you were giving, because you're taken, let's just say it this way, you're taken from being an animal and given what you got now. And what you do with it, that was up to you. But anyway, you lost some of that animal instinct and ways of being an animal. You learn how to love each other with emotion and feelings, and you're able to communicate and talk, and you're able to hell you start building fire, and look where you're at now. You were given that gift by the Lord Jesus Christ, the King of Kings, and all of a sudden here comes the evil one, evil ones. I don't know why we keep saying one, and as Lucifer or whatever you want to call him, being that he's in control, but you got to think of the other evilness that's around him that he controls, which is not just a massive army of evil beings, but you got to understand that a whole percentage of human species on this planet are being controlled with the evilness. I mean, if people don't find it sick, I don't know, even just sick, gross on not being a human by eating babies and drinking their blood, and that's just a little snippet. I'm trying to keep it a little bit clean here, man, of what they did and who they controlled at some of the human species. And when I first got here, I was thinking of this today, of being here in your parallel universe, your time. I was thinking of other, let's say, adventures and spirit, not other, like, I don't know how to describe it. I don't want to say experiment, more just other lives, other realities. Basically, that's where I go with it. Other realities, whether how different they are, because they are different. But I was thinking today, like simple things from somewhere else and whatnot, and how much this planet right now is so beautiful and graced with the Lord Jesus Christ, King of Kings' beauty. Some other times it wasn't so what it is now is there, less creation. There was no intelligence. That's, I guess that's the best way of putting it too. But when you gotta put yourself first and not be one side or the other, because they can come out here and say all they want about the left doing this and that. There is some on the right. Yeah, it's not so much advanced from the people on the right now that are out there killing certain groups of individuals as it is on the left. That's a fact. But as far as like, for instance, the socialist media platforms with people saying this and saying that, it's on both sides. It's that's just the way it is. It's on both sides. But as far as it goes for the murdering, violence, that's a playbook. Like the Marxists and what, you see it time and time again. Cuba, always, using the violence. Iran using the violence. I mean, it goes on and on and on. They use the violence to take control. And once they take control, and then they enslave their people. And that's what's going on right now with the left. I don't care what anybody's got to say, man. I know what I'm saying, and I know it's the truth and the facts, man. They're doing the exact same thing. You got to call one group of individuals Nazis and communists and and evil and dictator and king and all that shit, and you get your group of individuals to take up arms and whatnot and take to the streets and be violent. I mean, you've seen it time and time and time and time and time and time again. That's that's Marxist playbook. That's the playbook of communism. Then they come out here and they try to make the other side look like they're the ones that are like that. Which people on the right shit, man, that are in power and shit ain't worth you know what anyway, because they're not doing what they should be doing for like the homeless and the poor and the veterans and the housing and all that. I mean, you think if you got both sides to sit at the table and break fucking bread and shit, man, and come to a common grounds and shit, how much could get done in this country, man, for certain things. I'm not saying free. No, don't get me wrong, man. That's I'm talking about a hand up. I'm talking about like work programs and stuff like that. I'm not talking. And if you came to this country illegally because you already broke the law, you ain't entitled to jack diddly shit, man. I'm sorry, man. You're not entitled to jack diddly shit, man. You came here illegally, man. Now people come here the right way to the front door and shit, man. Hey, you got what you got coming, man. But yeah, and people don't understand about the alien aspect of things. Even the Bible talked about, they call them angels, because they didn't have the word for alien back there. It's like, a spaceship. They didn't have a word for spaceship. So, Ezekiel saw the wheel within the wheel, and Enoch, and so many other ones, man. Even George Washington, man. The Hopi, the list of your ancestors that have had this contact with aliens since the beginning, man. That's what that's since the beginning, man. Let's get somewhere with it, man. The different aliens and shit. Yeah, there is. There's good humans and bad humans. There's good aliens and bad aliens. I mean, that's a fact. But there's different intelligence, different levels of technology with certain groups and shit. That a couple are more advanced than others. So that's so the ones that are less advanced are sort of speaking weaker. So that's that, man. But you can go all throughout the Bible, man, and the Quran, and all of it, man. All different religions and shit, man, and read about the aliens. But most of the time they just didn't have the understanding of what aliens were. Angels, gods, you name it. See, And you had a great comet that went by not too long ago. That's all everybody talked about, you know. And not from around here either, by the way. But what they didn't tell you, and what you didn't understand, is the seeding from that comet. That's why its path, why it the path that it took. That's why it took that path. It's for the seeding of other plants. Now, not all plants are going to take that. You know, it's like planting some shit somewhere and it just won't grow there. But you take Earth, for instance, water, the way things are. The comet comes by, seeds this planet, bada boom, bada bing. Mars, not so much because it's atmosphere and which ain't really much of that. It don't take gas planets, etc., etc. But my whole point of that is, you send, and you possibly could do this yourself if you could survive in the future, which is it's not written for use to survive in the future. But if you could, eventually you could be doing that. You could be taking seeds of different things and even human life and sending it out in space and seeding planets. But like I said, you don't have to worry about that because you won't make it that far. And that's all because of a certain group of fucking aliens that are real hell-bent on destroying shit. They only keep you around for one reason, but I ain't gonna get into that disgusting shit either right now. But what one reason is you're expanding your knowledge and creating certain things which they're interested in, that advancement. They do give you certain technology that advances you, and that's for a reason, to advance you, for you can advance other technology that they're interested in. See, it's like your brain being, your brain's like a computer, man. It can only hold so much memory. And their system, so to speak, can only hold so much memory too. But they need to expand that. Like you're expanding your artificial intelligence, all the databases and all that shit, man, And trust me, man, it's a massive amount of storage that you couldn't even wrap your head around, man. Just think, space and time's endless, man. The storage of knowledge and memories of different aspects of things is pretty much almost endless. But they can only get to a certain point on their own of I don't want to say discoveries in advance, but other species of life forms, intelligent life forms, besides yourself, create different things. See what I'm saying? Different things than you create. And this intelligent life form creates different things than that too does, and so forth and shit. And they want to gather all that up for their own selves. they sure use that politics shit against you. It's pretty good. You know, you all forgot about the airports, how bad it was and shit, and then the next day everything was back to normal. What the hell did they do? What the hell did they do? You know, in one day that everything was back to normal. Not a damn thing. You know? Yeah, I gotta say, fake shit is just what it is. Fake shit don't matter if it comes from the left, don't matter if it comes from the right. You know, since I've been here, I never talk about shootings, mass shootings, death pretty much. I don't do it. You know, yeah, I'm not Alex Jones, which by the way I seen his son on and shit, man. Apple don't fall far from the tree, does it? Oh, Alex Jones, wife beater. What's they gonna say about your son, man? Trump turned his back on him. Shit. He didn't turn his back on you, man. What you want him to do? Fucking, he can't save your fucking lie. He can't save your business. You put yourself there, man. William Cooper, you never been. You're never gonna be. You're just that guy that comes out and tells the truth because that's what they wanted you to do. They want you to tell the truth, for everybody knows of their evilness and shit, man. You did it for money, Alex. Bill Cooper did it to save the human species. He wasn't scared to talk about religion and the evilness a part of it and shit. And didn't he die for it? Yeah. You take all these scientists and shit, man. Not just the United States, America, Canada, Australia, Japan, China, Russia, all around the world. Certain scientists are disappearing. All related to aliens, UFO. Reverse electric magnetic energy. Anti-gravity, I guess you call it here. Reverse electric magnetic energy. And all won't disappear over it and shit, man. Knowing too much about an alien species and knowing too much about, I'll call it anti-gravity. You know, it's they knew too much and it's getting too close for that part of the evil one. You call him Lucifer, call him whatever you want. That's fine. Making his final move, man. And then the Lord Jesus Christ, the King of Kings, shows up with his army, an army that don't fear. And, you know, the story's true. What happens is the truth. You know who wins? But what gets me, it's all that leads up to it that people can't wrap their heads around. You know, let's take the evil part of it, the collapse, the starvation, the murdering, the raping. You know, the 20, 30,000 individuals trying to take over certain parts of whatever country you're in and shit, man, to take over control of the food, the water, whatever little bits there left in there, you know. But buy silver and gold, you know. That's one thing that always pissed me off is these people out here, man. Buy silver and gold, you know, for a commercial and make money off and shit. You can't eat silver and gold, man. Don't listen to that shit, man. If you can afford an ounce of gold, man, you take that, whatever that ounce of gold is worth at that point in time, man, and you buy beans, rice, flour, noodles, shit that ain't gonna expire for a long time, man. Stock up on extra medication. But they tell you to buy gold and silver just for you, so you can feed into the evilness, man. Because that's part of the evilness and shit, man. Hang on. M8 Bun 1 Bun Min 1. This message held for review. I'm sure that's already been checked by my mods. Yeah, I hunt, but the guy told us to take care of the animals too. It's okay to hunt to feed your family or feed yourself, as long as you don't let that go to waste. Yeah, but I don't use every part of an animal. I should, but I don't. I don't use. And that guy just went through a fucking yield sign, idiot. I don't use every part of an animal. I know I should, but I don't. I should. I fish. I don't keep the fish though, man. I'm more of and I live in one of the world's best fishing spots. This without any question. But I don't keep the fish. I catch and release. But we got every kind of fish you can think about pretty much here. And sturgeons, walleye, trout, bass. You name it, man. They have fishing tournaments and shit from around this area and shit. Worldwide fishing tournaments. But I fish more for, believe it or not, the relaxation and to get away from your everyday stress of the shit they feed you, Because let's face it, man, they're constantly fucking feeding you this shit. It's like the king today coming to the United States of America. I don't care if you get mad or not that, you're over there or across the pond and shit. He ain't nothing. He ain't not. He don't. He don't really make any decisions and shit, man. He's just there to represent the so-called people and shit. I'm sure he has some kind of voice and shit, but he really not. Their reign's pretty much getting over with, man, because the politics side of things and shit, and the socialism, communism, Marxism, allowing all the illegal aliens into their country too and shit, and then the no-go zones and shit, man. Their reign's pretty much over with, man. They're pretty much going to be sitting in the back and just, they'll be all right because, they got all that wealth that they stole all them years and shit. You think that they worked hard and shit and got all that, what they got and shit? Hell no, man. How did it start, And then they try to have rules and laws here for the people that were founding this country and shit. And luckily that you had strong enough, not cowards, to stand up and take them on and whip their ass and shit. And 250 years later, here you are, man. Oh, there goes one. No, sorry, gone. Uh-oh. I don't know how to get back. Oh, that sucks. Not only you got big thumbs. No, I just had a white orb, but it may have been a satellite. I don't know. It's pretty light out, man. It'd be a satellite, I guess, but it was going towards where the sun's setting, and that, that could be a possibility that the sun was hitting it and shit, man. But it was moving pretty fast for a satellite. Yeah, they've been around since the beginning of you, man. They've been around this planet. They've been around a lot longer than you've been around. And if I don't look at the chats, man, it's not that I'm being ignorant and rude. It's I just don't look at the chats, man. Super Dave, love you, brother. Happy birthday to Super Dave. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Super Dave. Happy birthday to you. You old fart. Yeah, I know it's your birthday. I know a lot of things. Pretty nice day today, I guess, man. It's probably in the 50s, but last week it snowed. That was an Iranian drone. No. But yeah, last week it snowed, man. It was in the 70s and shit, man. And then all of a sudden, boom, it dropped down, got real cold and shit, and snowed, and people are cutting the grass and planting shit. And it ain't really warmed up that much where I'm at, because I'm farther north in Michigan, but in the thumb area. But it's gonna stay in the 50s for quite a few days, man. That's the high. But, it ain't close from the average. And that's another thing, with the slow, and I say slow, pole shift, it's not that it's not that, how should I say, it's not that the weather is changing where you're at. It's because of the pole shift. You're moving. The weather's staying the same. The pattern it's staying the same for now. For now, mountains and other things will affect that later on. But right now, because it's such a slow pole shift, the weather pattern staying the same. It's you shifting so slightly. And I said this. I tried to warn it when I first got here, like glacier uplifting, but it's because it's such a slow process, by the way. But things are shifting towards the north, east. And, it's like I said, you have more tornadoes up towards the Michigan area, Pennsylvania, up in Canada, Green Bay area around, and shit, I don't know how many tornadoes Michigan's had already. It ain't even fucking tornado season yet. And the same with your flooding, it's the flooding's going to be in certain areas because they don't get the flooding in certain areas because it's more drier and whatnot and shit. And all of a sudden, the shift happens, not the weather pattern, but the shift happens, the planet's moving and that goes over dry areas that never seen a lot of rain, and what happens? You get a lot of flooding. You know, Michigan got hit pretty damn hard. They try to say it's snow runoff and shit, man. But that's bullshit, man. It's because of what they're doing. You know, you got all them fires happening down south and shit, man. And you think that down south, man, it wouldn't be so dry? Because, you know, but look where you're at. I know, you know, the winter wise and shit, Michigan gets more snow, and that helps us. You know, Wisconsin and Pittsburgh and Buffalo and all that. You know, helps with the snow helps for the volume of water. But when you start getting this mass amount of rain constantly, yeah, we hardly had any ice. I don't know, on the lakes and shit, you know. And you go look and research and shit, but they pencil whip the numbers and shit on everything anyway. So, you know, they could tell you that the lakes were 90% covered. I know that's bullshit, man. We were lucky if we hit 30%. One time we were at about 40% on some lakes and shit. That's because of that polar vortex and shit. Got really cold for a while there and shit. Real cold. But after that, what's glacier uplifting? Glacier uplifting is when the ice from the north went south, miles and miles high, it pushed down upon the earth. And when it went back towards the north, it uplifts, it lets up, and that causes major earthquakes. You know, you'll see that pretty soon here. You know, Tennessee and Kentucky, and you know it's happened before, but it's getting farther north, so you're looking more at New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Illinois. You know, kind of draw a line pretty much across there and shit. That's where the point of it is right now. But yeah, that's glacier uplifting. It's a real thing, man. I named it glacier uplifting. I think they got another name for it, but I don't really care because I know what I know and shit, and I'm the one that named it, so I'm calling it glacier uplifting. Yeah, it became a real thing. A lot of my stuff that I talk about becomes real things. Polar vortex, geoengineering. Oh, there goes the algorithm. They're gonna put a lie underneath my fucking video telling me I'm lying about it and shit. A disclaimer, you know. Yeah, at least they don't kick me off anymore and shit. But that don't matter none anyway either. I made a hell of a run when I was here. Longer than I thought I would make it, but because I hate social platforms, man. Socialist platforms. I hate them, man. I hate the technology of the phones and computers. I only use my computer once a fucking month. Excuse my mouth. I only use my computer once a month. The phone, I hate my phone, man. I only wanted to use it to communicate. But you know, I have to have a social life on here and shit, you know, have friends, family, you know, because if I didn't, I would go fucking crazy, man. Can't live by myself, with myself all these years. I gotta have interaction with the humans and the love and you know the social life. I gotta feel what you feel, man. Your emotions, your pain, your sorrow. Let's get into another subject while I'm gonna go all out. Shit, don't worry, I ain't gonna disappear. They can't kill me, so I'll kill myself. Not like that. I mean, I don't mean the fucking with a gun or something like that. I'm talking about smoking, fucking eating the bullshit I eat, that. Don't sit there and think I'm fucking suicidal and shit, man. Fucking life can't get to me that bad, man. Nah, I could live off the fucking streets, man, and eat out of a garbage can and wouldn't be depressed like that, man. It's because they can't control the mind. They can't control me, man. Certain people can't be hypnotized and shit. It's just too strong a mind, man. Can't bite off into everything and all the bullshit and the lies and shit, man. You gotta be honest. Like I said, you gotta be honest with the truth and the facts, man. It ain't about fucking letting them fucking program you every freaking day with the socialist platforms, time and time, in and out, in and out, in and out. I don't need to see it. I already know what the next game plan is and shit, man. They just did the next game plan and shit. It's like what happened just recently with Trump and everybody that was there, even news reporters, by the way, man. They weren't immune from what happened. But there's a go around and you got a lot of people coming out saying it was fake again, It wasn't fake, okay? It don't mean they didn't control the individual. You can call it MK, whatever you want to call it. They control that individual. They control that individual. They control that individual. They control, okay? They get an individual, control him, and send him on his fucking way or her way, or she way. Don't think it was fake. It wasn't fake. Don't be Alex Jones. Of course, I think he's coming out, if I remember right. I don't watch Alex Jones. I don't see anything about it. It's just from past memories. I'm trying to think that I think he came out recently and said that, it ain't fake. There's other people, that in politics saying it's fake. But anyway, but that don't mean that they didn't mind up this guy, mind controlled him to do such thing. Same with Butler, and even old idiot at the golf course, and the list goes on and on and on. Even Charlie Kirk's assassin, that CEO's assassin. It don't mean that Well, I take that back about CEO. That I look and think about it and shit. That I remember right. It ain't really. It wasn't mind control. That was just fucking little upstairs and shit, man. But that's what even Fox News, mainstream, talking about these people being lunatics, nut jobs, mental cases, No, not all of them are, man. Look at this guy. He was highly educated and shit, man. And then all of a sudden he started becoming something that he wasn't. And we know the government does that anyway, man. We got you got under the Freedom of Information Act fucking proof of it, That's why all your governments from all around the world and shit put the technology that they're creating and shit in private businesses, so-called private businesses and shit. That way, there's no Freedom of Information Act. You can't get Freedom of Information Act from these private companies and shit. But if the government was doing it, shit, you could get Freedom of Information Act and the government would get busted. You pay some guy in charge of a fucking company and shit, man. Billions and billions of dollars. How he forgets about what he did. Money, the root of all evil. Yeah, pretty soon you won't have it anyway, man. You have the mark of the beast. They're already working on that on you and shit, man. All they gotta do is one major fucking disaster, world disaster, by the way. And that money goes away and you get the mark of the beast, man. You'll have that card, man. Yep, you're one major disaster away. It's got to be a worldwide disaster, though, like Yellowstone going off, or asteroid hitting Earth. The evil human species on this planet, they control a lot, but they ain't in control of doing something like that. But let's say that an advanced, intelligent life form that may have been around for 1,000,000 years, that may be able to move fucking planets, you know, if you think about it, they're capable of such thing. Yeah, an intelligent life form that's fucking 1,000,000 years old. Think of the technology they got. They can move planets. They can move satellites, moons, and put them in certain places next to other planets. Position everything mathematically fucking perfect and shit, like the universe itself, which God created. Mathematically, it's so perfect, and your shit, they have 800 million years. They'll never be able to create what God created. Lord Jesus Christ, He created them. Bible talks about them too. Quran talks about them. All religion talks about them. What do I think about so-called Project Bluebeam and shit? Don't give it a try and shit. Do not give it a try, man, because that ain't gonna work and shit, man. But when the reality, the real aliens come and shit, they already got you in your brain. That's Project Bluebeam, and you're gonna go, you know. Instead of taking cover, man, and fucking saving yours and your family and shit, man. Now you go, yeah, this is fake and shit. Certain group of insects come out so many years and feast and mate and shit, you know. Well, you think that some species of alien don't come and eat at certain times? Yeah, well, it's a possibility, right? No possibility. It's truth and facts. It's starting to get a little bit nippy now. dropping down to the 40s, unsure of it. Let me see. Let me see. Alright. Well, I find that hard to believe, man. It's telling me it's 71 degrees. I'm right on Lake Huron and shit. I'm telling you right now, it's not 71 degrees out there. It's a lot colder than that, but it could be because I'm on blood thinner and shit, man. Trying to get the doctor to get me right, but that's becoming a struggle, and because I ain't big on medication, you know. I really ain't, man. Never have been, man. Baby aspirin's about the extent of it in marijuana. But I gave in and tried a couple of things and shit, but like the inhaler, I've been trying that, and steroids and all that other shit, man. I'm not down with it and shit, man. You know, give me a rock with some zinc in it and shit, man. I'll gnaw on that, you know. Let the sun shine on me and shit, man. Get all that, you know. Eat some broccoli and shit, you know. That's. But sometimes, man, that your body don't get that, you know. There's most people, man. I bet you 98% of you don't eat enough fruit and vegetables right off Jump Street, man. I'm guilty too, man. I'm guilty too. I don't even eat a fucking hamburger with lettuce and tomato and onion and shit on it. I like onions, you know. I like mushrooms. I like corn. I like, certain things, man. Cauliflower. I love all fruit, but I just go through my daily life and year now and shit, man, and just like most of yous don't even give it a second thought. But that's not me, man. But yeah, trying to get that doctor to get my shit straight, but it becomes a certain point in time, you know. You just say, you know what? It's been a good run, man. And I don't regret any of this life, man. I learned from my mistakes. I fell down plenty of times and shit, man. Picked myself back up, man. Whether it was alcohol, love, everyday things that you deal with as a human species yourself, you know. But never, I don't regret any of it, because it's a learning experience. Life is just that. It's a learning experience. If you don't learn from anything, then you're just gonna walk around being stupid and letting them control you and shit, you know. But if you learn, you can't fall for their bullshit, man. And you might not even think you're falling for it, but you are. You're falling. I don't give a shit if you're on the left or on the right. You're going to watch this certain group of individuals, and this group of individuals are going to watch that certain group of individuals. And you're going to get people in there that are giving you fake and lies and mind controlling your shit into believing that, instead of coming together as peace, love, and understanding and having respect for each other and sitting there breaking bread at the table. No. Keep you separated. It's like the song said, they gotta keep you separated. You know? Go back and listen to old songs and during Jesus and, listen. I guess you can't really listen unless you can find some auto book and shit, man. But you can see it in the songs. The dividedness. Making you speak different languages. That's a fine example that I can give, man, is making you speak different languages where you can't communicate to come together and destroying the evilness that is controlling you. They enjoy it, man. They enjoy it and controlling you because there's, it's like a politicians, man, that control you. That's just the human species of that. But they get a kick off controlling you and telling you what you can do. I don't give a shit if you're a Democrat. They still control Democrats. I don't care if you're a Republican. They still control Republicans. Have you ever seen either side fucking take complete control? Even communism and shit, and Hitler and Stalin, the list goes on and on and on, where they might have had a grip at a certain point and shit, but it was defeated. Bitch about it is to me, and I don't mean to use such language, man, but bitch about it is to me is let's take food for instance and shit, man, where you're gatherers of such thing, food, you go out there and you planted it and harvest it, and you lived off the land, Now what is it? It's them controlling you to live off what they created as the meat market, meat packaging market, the peanut butter, jelly, the gas, the automobiles. It's all a control thing. For that technology, for the more technology they give you, the more that you get enslaved. That's the easiest way I can say this too. The more technology they give you, the more advanced so-called you get, which you really don't, because like I said, they're the ones giving you. But the more control that they have over you. Hell, cell phones is a fine example, man. Shit. Was the TV, well, first radio and then TV, and I guess print, books, newspapers, and I guess that's first. I should have said, but you get what I'm saying, man. The advancement. Oh, that's everything we created and shit. Yeah, it's advancement. There's a certain point, because there's brilliant men that were creating such things. Like I said before, man, there's certain things that you create as a human species that they're interested in, because they're not in possession of that, because it's never been created in and shit, because you're creating it yourself. Take a lot of things that Edison created and so forth and shit. But at a certain point, they skipped over that and advanced you into where you're at now, and you can see it was like I said, it was overnight. It was like fucking, the list of things that you're in possession of right now, man, come from them. And cell phone ain't no different, computers ain't no different. And don't think that these are things that are benefiting you, because they sure ain't benefiting you. They're just devices to control you even more. Everybody's going to have one, you know, and for the mark of the beast anyway. So, see, I don't understand what people think is going to happen. Let's take the world becoming a communist world. What is that going to do for people? Nothing. It's not going to advance them. It'd be like Cuba and all the rest of the failed communist countries, North Korea, China. I think it's so nice in China, you know. It's just that they're not stupid, and they're taking advantage, you know. They take advantage of the United States of America's technology, but nonetheless, you know, they are who they are. They're a strong force to be reckoned with, man. Russia ain't shit to China. United States of America, if they don't keep their shit together, they ain't gonna be either. But my point of all that is, this lady that trying to take over the whole world and communism and shit, what are them people gonna have? You know, you no longer need to fucking build shit for the masses of people, because they're not worthy of having cell phones, computers, and you know, fucking lawnmowers and cars and whatnot. You know, it is. Then what? They really think about it. Just take Cuba, for instance, North Korea. China's an exception on things because of the manufacturing and the size of, and you know, amount of people that's there. That's the control is kind of like United States of America. You know, give a middle class, invent a middle class, and you know, keep them happy and shit, man. You know, just like the United States of America, UK, and all, you know. But once they don't need that no more, it's gone. Just the whole world, if it was uncontrolled. Like, and you could say the same thing with Islam, Muslims, Islam Lake. It'd be the same thing if the stream part of that religion takes over the whole world. You don't need the people to have things. Just keep around enough, man. Fucking harvest the food, entertainment, you know, the evilness that will come from it. They'll be telling you, you know, what little bit they leave behind and shit to serve them and shit, man. Sit down, shut up, and eat your bugs. Well, they're going with that right now. Sit down and eat your vegetable burger. The water being controlled. You know, yeah. F your communism. Up your socialism, too, while we're at it, man. But in the United States of America and the UK and all the rest of most of the world is being controlled with that aspect of communism, man. Socialism. There is a fight towards my Muslim brothers, but that later on progresses into another whole different beast. But it emerges, you know. Eventually, the two are emerge, communism but One's a little sneaky and shit, and ends up doing the other one away farther down the road. And I say too much, I don't care. I ain't no scientist. No siree. I ain't no scientist. I ain't come up missing, right? Can't see it, man. It might be on the phone. I don't know, man. I can't see it on the phone, but I can see it with my eye. I know it's just a star. I don't know, maybe I said too much and they sent somebody to spy on me. It's a star. I just can't see it on the phone, man. It's freaks. It could be right there. There's the light. There's the tree. Yeah. It may be on the phone. I don't know. See it on the phone. I pointed up towards the. Hang on a minute. Point it towards the sky for a minute, man. You never know. Maybe some meteorite will go by or one of them alien spacecrafts. Maybe we'll see the wheel with inside a wheel, or maybe we'll see what the spacecraft that Enoch was taken upon and showing that the Earth was round. It ain't flat, people. Enoch said it was round. Yeah, that star's pretty bright and shit. I don't know if that phone's picking it up. Yeah, you gotta think about what they're gonna do next, man. Be ready for it. Not so much ready for it. You should be ready anyway, man, for a lot worse than what they got planned, but for the next event, you gotta think about it. I what would be my guess? You can bookmark this part, or the bookmark, mark it down where I said this and shit, and I would pretty much say a terrorist event. Right? Would think. And what gives me that idea, that impression for that, is because with Iran, all the countries that didn't get involved and help out, they'll be safe. I do believe. And maybe it feels staggered, or maybe UK or some shit, but United States of America. Yeah, I don't think it'd be total global event. But they're like that don't mean that outside United States of America military bases in certain countries not be attacked. The structure of the United States of America will be the objective, the main target. And, like I said, there may be a few, set off some kind of stupid ass bombs and shit, man, in certain parts of different countries and shit. But it'd be mostly focused on the United States of America. And I'm talking about a good 60% of it being in the United States of America. I mean, they just mind control one guy to run like a hedgehog, run his ass through fucking security and shit and try to shoot a bunch of fucking people. And, you got Secret Service, I mean, all that security and shit, which was loose for a reason. Like I said, there's a difference between being fake and mind control, man. Somebody do something, all right? There's fake shit out here, period. It ain't got nothing to do with the reality of them because they're not like that. Mind control, do what they gotta do, kill, murder, and disappear, what not, fucking poison you and shit, man. Put, fucking GMO food, fucking change your water, change your air, change even your DNA and shit, man. And you accept it and you continue, it's like GMO tomatoes. You're still eating the shit if you eat tomatoes. Same with the food, what meat and fish, even fish and everything. The guy asked me if I hunt. That's pretty much the only thing they ain't controlling this shit, man. It's the wild shit. Guilty, guilty myself, man. But it's it is what it is, and people think that that they're free. I don't give a shit, man. You're not free wherever the hell you are, man. There's very few groups of individuals in this whole world that are totally free of any of it, and even some of them tribes, shit, man, are dwindling up. And another thing, how far you want to go with the intelligence? How should I say it? The intelligence from take for instance certain tribes that are being discovered. Well, were being discovered and pretty much all now, and they're their level of intelligence where they're at. Because think about it, man. They ain't got none of what any of it. They ain't understand what a phone and a camera and shit. They ain't never have any understanding of that shit. Think about it. Why don't you think about that? Everything they don't know. It's that simple, man. But that's a level of intelligence where they're at because they provide for themselves. Their hunt, the fire, certain medicine in the bush, in the woods, and the not woods, jungles and shit. And then, but they're at that level of intelligence. And then there's another level of intelligence that exists on this planet that's not even nearly advanced as that, but somewhat has enough intelligence to survive with the hunting and little the shelter, but not so much the fire. And that, take a species of Bigfoot, which does exist. It's not anywhere as advanced as of a tribe that just was recently discovered, but it's still advanced. It's still able to figure things out, and especially to stay away from fucking evil human species that it's like autism. Everybody's got autism. It's just a different level of it and shit. Some of it's really, 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 really low. Barely a trace of it, but it's still there in every human species. And then there's that high level, which, y'all can see on a daily basis. But it exists in your bloodline. And that's autism is not it's getting rid of all the past parts of your animal ways, I should say. I guess that's the best way I can say it. But it is in that bloodline of your human species. It's just a different level. Some people don't even show any, barely show any trace of it, but that's does not matter. Everybody's got it. It's just some people got it real bad. And that's what makes you part. That's part of what makes you. So, well, I'm getting off on some shit that I shouldn't be probably discussing. Well, like I said, I don't really care anymore anyway, man. So, like I said, they can't harm me. Because believe it or not, I am that of God and God's army, and we are an army to fear. And I know how this story ends, man. And I'll tell you what, I know I'm on the right side of things. Always. See, being here right now, I want it so hard for yous all to fight and win, and then I understood. I come to understand by the teachings of the Word. It don't matter. It don't matter that I want yous to be a beautiful planet with human species that has nothing but peace, love, and understanding and respect for each other, because it's already been written by the Lord Jesus Christ, the King of Kings, what's going to happen. As much as I would love and dream, everybody went to another parallel universe that exists, because every parallel universe is not the same. It's different things, man. Different. Just things are different, man. One might have, no such thing as presidents, and I just my mind right now, there's just so much of it and shit, man, that's different in so many other parallel universes that I couldn't even start to ramble off, and if I did, I don't want to, man. Because not everything's the same, man. Some things are, some things ain't. Most of the things ain't. It's like different story, that you can of of a whole human species life. You can watch that series, and then a different new one comes out, and it's totally different than the first one you watch, and then the third one's different than the first two you watch. It has parts that may be the same in the last, because it goes on and on and on and on. It's endless too, It's like time and space is endless, man. People just you couldn't wrap your mind around it, man. No, you're stuck on this planet, and that's your movement is not very far. It's not deep at all, man. Because you're on this planet. But if you were able to time travel, jump parallel universes, you would understand that it's endless. And all created by the same God. Yeah. Stars are starting to pop now. I ain't interested in the stars right now, man. I'm interested in some asteroids. That was pretty light, ain't it? It's a clear day. It wasn't earlier, but it's clear as shit tonight, man. It's gonna be. Yeah, like I was saying, that last comment that went by, everybody was all fucking pumped up about shit, man. That's yeah. I said this, man. Never. You go back and look at my video, man, because my shit comes full circle. I don't know if it was last month, month before. Not sure, man. How many videos back? I ain't been making that many videos, so it can't be too deep in my video archive. Can't be more than 3, I don't think. But I said you going through that debris, and I was gonna give an update, man. I said I was gonna do the math and shit and tell you what day didn't. Well, a few days that it would be happening. I got sidetracked. I never did get to that project for you, so I'm sorry for that, man. But anyway, that's what happened with seeing all the meteorites and shit, man. That's exactly what it is. And that, once again, I was talking about the seeding. They got a word for it, I guess in your time. It's planet Spartania or something or another and shit, man. It's seeding of other planets. It's what it is. And what's all I can say, man, about it, man. Yeah, you guys got a few little rocks that come to your planet, so wait and see. They can come back in like certain plagues and shit for Black Plague, whatever. It was a common shit, man, and that spread that virus that killed millions and millions of people. It's when it happens, it's sometimes it's controlled. Be honest with you and shit, by an intelligent life form and shit, and it can be good. Sometimes by the same or by another intelligent life form, it could be bad, and sometimes it's just natural things from all that's out there. But it's happened numerous times on your planet. It's like a extinction and shit, man. You know, it's happened so many times. People don't even, they go about their life every day, man, and in any given time, man, an asteroid could hit this planet and all that be done. But that's not totally going to happen because of the Lord Jesus Christ, King King's coming back. So, but oh yeah, it impact of a large asteroid. That's what I was saying. You're only that far away from one major disaster, Yellowstone asteroid, like in 6, 7 volcanoes going off at the same time, causing a nuclear winter. And I gotta lean towards the truth, man, of an asteroid, man. Hitting and causing super volcanoes at the same time they go off, because that's exactly what happens when that asteroid hits the shit. It causes them super volcanoes to go off, man. The earthquake, is that just not the impact itself and destruction and shit, man. It's because it spreads. It makes the earth ring like a ring like a bell and shit, man, and causing all the fault lines and earthquakes and tidal waves and woo, make this earth shake like God said, huh? My guys took many, many, many armies into battle. God has. It's people think it's that perfectness and the no violence side of things. The hatred, but I don't. It's not really that with God. But that's how people think. It's just that God's just not that way. But yeah, He is, man. He's the one that's going to throw down that stone, man. Wormwood, aka Nibiru, whatever you want to call it. And not so much that planet, but the debris that comes with that solar system, because that's exactly what it is, man. It's your binary sun. Look at Anunnaki planet jump up to this planet and shit, man. And look where he at now. Still digging gold and silver and all that shit for them. They needed to put around their planet, because the closer they get to your sun, the hotter their planet gets. Their sun is a red dwarf. It's not as hot as yours. But you notice what you're doing around your planet. It's pretty much what was written in ancient texts of what the Anunnaki does to their planet. You're doing the same thing, because you being a red dwarf, it's still well, I don't, hotter than the fucking, it's just pretty freaking hot, man. I forget the hotness of brown dwarfs, red dwarfs. I forget the scale of the hotness, but that's why your moon has been slightly drifting away from your planet. And you can look this up, man. Moon's slightly drifting away from Earth because it's being pulled. The closer it gets, that solar system, the more pull it has, and not just on the moon, on planet Earth. But it's the debris field that travels with that little miniature solar system. Impact, boom. Probably been out here. I don't know. Let me put on my glasses. See how long I've been talking. Damn, an hour and 13 minutes. I ought to have a show out here. He never made $1 off this, man. No, he never made $1 off this. Don't need all the fancy bells and whistles, and I don't need to sell you any gold or silver or shit supposed to make you feel like, you're a young teenager. I don't need to do that, man. Truth is free. Oh, guess what I just seen? 2 bats. I'm starting to see, because last year I hardly seen any bugs and bees and butterflies. I ain't seen any, well, yeah, I seen a couple bees so far, but I ain't seen no butterflies. It's too early. They ain't migrated here yet, but I am seeing more insects this early. So we'll see, man. Because bees ain't the only insect and shit that pollinates, man. So I know what Einstein said. Bees disappeared and we disappeared, but it takes a little bit more. Not much, but. Because there's still a lot of things that the human species could eat that could survive. But when the rest of the species that pollinate die, oh yeah, man. It's over with, man. There'll be somewhat of survival shit for a minute shit, man, and then it just becomes the insects eating off the rest of the, like the dead trees and shit, and then that's gone, and there's nothing here and shit, it's all gone. And then they're gone. Yeah, you'll have shit growing in the soil and shit for a minute too. Some will survive forever. The rocks, shit growing, surviving in the rocks. Can't look at my star map. So can't do both things at the same time. I probably could, but able to pick it up now. That line going across, that's from the light, man. It's not no Viper Trail. Yeah, I ain't got my star map out. That's towards the
Let's see. That's towards the west north. It was. I don't know if it showed up on the phone or not. I'm going looking in the neighbors' windows. How dare I? All right, this is the way I want to look anyway. Keep an eye towards the north. Yeah, the aliens, they control every aspect of this planet, man. You'd say Lucifer. He's just the one in charge. They control everything. They're controlling you. I love each and every one of these out here, but some people are just being controlled, man. They're following that shit. I mean, I know it's hard. It's like a soap opera. I know it's hard not to follow what's going on, but if you, what I'm saying is, if you do, don't think so much about the fakeness. Think of it more of the controlness, what they want you to believe. I mean, when you look at, for instance, the shooting that just happened, like I said before, people are saying it's fake. It's not fake, but that don't mean that man wasn't controlled by. You know, maybe that. How should I say this, man? I'm not trying to be careful. I'm trying to think of the right words. You know, it, it, Trump's not perfect in any means, man. All right, it's just, but I believe God is using Trump. But I also believe that Trump's is got a strong way about him, and sometimes God can't control him completely, but God guides him. And like Trump's not perfect, not at all. But trying to think where I was getting with it, and I got sidetracked myself. It's with the aliens in control. You know, uh, I don't. I know that Trump's not being mind controlled or anything by Lucifer. Some evil aliens. I don't. Well, I know that for a fact, and I know God's working through him, and Trump's strong, and sometimes, like I say, sometimes he comes out and he gets past God's shield and just goes on his own. Okay, but that's because he's a strong man. That's why God's using him. Okay, but I know the aliens, Lucifer, is not controlling Trump at all. But Trump could let his shield down and allow that evilness to creep in without him knowing it too. But like I say earlier about people being hypnotized, people that got real strong mind and will and faith, and they're hard to hypnotize. They're hard to manipulate, to control, because this is pretty much what it is that with your TV, your news, and your internet, and socialist platforms. That's what it is. It's all a mind control. It's just a device to control you. Like I said earlier, newspaper. Yeah, well, it goes even farther back in that, writing on the side of walls and shit, but not unless they're, in advance to where it's at now. I know I ramble on too much. But keep eating the food that they designed. It's not to help you and shit. They didn't make them them tomato skins thicker and shit for they're able to transport them better and shit, and they last longer. They didn't do that for the to help you, you know. Trust me on this. They have to keep you happy. They have to feed you, and, give you certain things and shit, man. Or you all might fucking just snap and wake up all at the same fucking time. Then again, that don't matter none. I hate saying it don't matter none, but it don't matter none because if you believe in God, you know the fight, you know the outcome. So it's just getting there, all the misery, sorrow, pain, starvation, all that. That's terrible. It really is terrible. The murder, the rape, the looting, total chaos. It's terrible. But you being the chosen ones and shit, to bear witness to it, it happens in your time. I don't feel bad because those that believe finally get their reward. Those that don't believe get a reality check real quick, and they ain't gonna like it. But it's the time that you're rewarded if you believe in God. Everything before that is sad, man. It really is. But like I said, there's nothing you can do about it. And a lot of you are gonna go through that time and just have food, water, guns, ammunition, extra medication, all that, man. And survive to the Lord Jesus Christ, the King of Kings comes. And then after that, don't worry about it. But if you want to save gold and silver instead of these things, fishing poles, axes, stuff like that, you want to instead of saving or getting that supply, you just want to get gold and silver, go ahead, man. Go ahead. Because I know that a person walks up to a man with a can of pork and beans, and the man's got an ounce of gold, and he says, I'll give you this ounce of gold for them can of pork and beans, and that man looks at him and says, it's not enough. And then the man
offers 2 and he still says it's not enough. 50 ounces? It's not enough for that can of pork and beans. Yep, but don't worry, man. If you're with me and shit and I got a can of pork and beans, man, I'll split them with you, man. I'll even give you that little piece of fat they put in the can. I'll share them with you. Don't try taking that shit from me, though, man.
That ain't happening. Like I said, it's sad, because the food chain breaks down, everything breaks down, but food chain breaks down, and that's just the starvation. Like all I said, that's bad too, man. And then that fucking people do what they gotta do to eat, right? I know it's sad, it's sick. I know. Yeah, I know you may want to hear and shit, man. But yeah, it's sad, it's sick. Hell, but you got these evil fucking ones right now, man, are drinking baby blood and eating babies, and calling it jerky, and so. I guess they're just getting ahead of the game, huh? Sick fucker. Yeah, if you don't know how to hunt, fish, and track and all that good shit, man. Snares and being, try to keep as less people you can in your little group and shit. It should be little too, man. It should be immediate family and shit, man. Shouldn't be any outside friends and shit or none of that shit, man. Just keep it real tight and close and shit, man. Find yourself a good spot, man. Out in the fucking, not the woods, the forest. Go to the fucking forest, man. Down in Michigan, the UP of Michigan would be fucking great, man. Because that's another thing, man. All of a sudden, all these people go out in the woods and forests and shit and start hunting and shit, man. And the fucking knock that shit out real quick, don't they? Not to count the farmers and shit, the slaughtering of all the cows and all that, and the fucking goats, and they'll wipe that shit right out, man, with the fucking quickness, man. Every grocery store just in the United States of America be wiped out in fucking 30 minutes, man. Not that it could, it will. Like they always say, it would do this, and if this happened, it's gonna do that, man. Everything I talked about, man. Wormwood hitting fucking earth, the super volcanoes going off, like the starvation, the murder, the raping, the killing, the survival instinct. Because people are gonna want to survive, And when they want to survive, they get pretty shitty. Let's just be honest with each other, man. Some people that say they wouldn't, they do. Man, I'm getting close to calling it tonight. That sucks, man. Such a beautiful, clear night, man. Moon's out. Stars are out. I'm waiting to see if Panstar has some fucking, because it should be going through its debris field, man. I ain't figured that one out mathematically either. I should have done that too, man. I'm pretty sure we're pretty close to it today, yesterday. not so much the meteorites, but it's gases and shit, man. Creating kind of like aurora. Well, exactly, kind of, that, man. A lot of times they didn't have an understanding for it. Shit. But I think they are now. I think they meant right. I think it's pretty much Panstar brings kind of a more understanding of it. A lot of people don't understand, man. You see meteorites, you're going through a fucking debris field, And a good percentage of it is from asteroids and comets. Meteorites. Then there's some from that ain't from around here. Some that you just seen. It's the fourth one that they let you know about that becomes real interesting. I don't want to keep looking up in the sky and shit out my window and shit, man. My neck gets sore. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look up what star that is, man. If anybody knows, man, maybe type it in the chat. Well, I won't be able to see the chat anyway. Get here, man, and I can't never find anything. They give me a receipt at the store, and by the time I get to my truck, I already lost the son of a gun. Yeah, it's pretty. It's the best night I've seen in a long time, man. You know how they be doing it. Fucking cloudy, raining. If it ain't raining, it's cloudy, Like, as long as they block that shit out, man. See, that's another thing. That's what I'm saying. These alien are fucking even controlling your weather, controlling the temperature. Just amazes me they say that that it's global warming, and there's no signs of that, man. They pencil whip a lot of shit, man, to make it look like that, but there's no signs of that. What signs of them spraying is they create a dome over top of you and shit, locking in all that fucking heat and shit, causing such global warming. This is face the fucking truth. Where's all that shit go? It just makes a fucking giant fucking globe around you and shit, man. Well, none of the heat escapes, and it's not natural. But they're controlling that environment that you live in and shit, man. Why are they doing that? For the growth of the trees and everything and shit, man. It's just, like I said, there's intelligent life forms, of species that are so far advanced and shit, they can move planets, man. Okay, honestly. I mean, you just can't wrap your head around intelligent life form that's even 100,000 years more advanced than you. The technology they have, the just simple terms of the smartness. You know, it's intelligence. It's just so far advanced. And ain't just, you know, that being that intelligent creates and technology and whatnot and shit, man. Advancement for them to travel through space and time and shit. Because take for instance, use as a human species, you can, you know, traveling to Mars is bullshit. Look at this, what happened with the astronauts that were traveling around the moon and shit and came back. Look at the medical conditions they were in at that short period of time. Think about this. At that short period of time. Imagine what 6 months would do to the human body. It couldn't take it. But if you were to create, let's say, an artificial intelligent robot that could survive, there you go. But if you were, let's say, 100,000 years more advanced than what you are, you may now be able to create your body with certain technology to make such trips. Maybe even travel through space and time. See, when you look at certain aliens and shit, and they're a species of aliens, and you look at what are aliens, not hybrids, not created for they could travel through space and time. Something like an artificial intelligence robot that looks like certain aliens. Which, if you wouldn't kill yourselves, I don't mean, you know, why do I always say you don't kill yourselves? Because God, how should I say this? You know, it's like taking a poll, you know, where it may be 60-40. And right now it's 60% evil, Lucifer, 40% God. It's been pretty close to even. But once it gets to a certain point where Lucifer's got more percentage of points, that's when it happens, man. God says that's it, man. Because, you know, God and Lucifer are having this conversation, which, you know, y'all don't know about and shit, man. But I heard it from somebody, I heard it from somebody, I heard it from somebody, I heard it from somebody that God and Lucifer are having a conversation, you know, and Lucifer said that he could create this planet better than God, and said he could create the human species better than God. He could create the food better than God, the water, even the air. God looked at him and said, you know what? I'm going to give you control of that planet Earth and everything upon it. Even the human species that I created, the ones I love. And I'm going to let you go ahead and create it better than I did. But you see in this story that was that somebody heard from somebody that heard from somebody that heard from somebody that heard from somebody that Lucifer tried that. He's changed your food, GMO food. He's changed your water. What they're spraying in the fucking air. He's changing the air. You know, even your DNA, he's changing. See, God created you perfect. He created this planet perfect. So he got it right the first time, like I said so many times. But he knew that Lucifer couldn't create all this better than what he did. But then that's exactly what's going on right now. He's not a conspiracy. God or I say Lucifer because so many is known by that name. A lot of their names were given throughout the years too, you know, not just Lucifer, you know, it's just right hand, left hand, you know. His one's in command of certain units, let's say, you know, certain projects. What do you think about Comey, man? I don't think that shit's gonna fly though. I don't remember everything. I don't think that indictment's gonna fly, man. But it's not that he was part of the call it deep state because that's what you guys are calling it, shit, man. It's not because of that I think he'll come out of it. I just think it's that he's not a stupid individual, you know. Posting what he posted don't really make it a criminal act, you know. So when you come out and say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, you know, to some individual, whether it's Trump or Biden or Obama, whatever and shit, man, you know, that's different, you know. If you put yourself in that spot, man, the threatening part, you know, but he's I think intelligent enough that's not because like I don't think I think he wins, man. Yeah, the king coming to the United States, I don't give a rat's ass, man. It didn't impress me. You know, all it is a message and shit, man, about fucking with Iran and shit and what, you know, United Nations and shit, man, and shit. You know, he ain't helping out and shit, man. You know, none of that matters, man. Trump said what he said, man. They ain't nothing motherfucking weak. Socialist communism creeping into their countries and shit, the no-go zones and Muslim law and fucking, you know, all that shit, man. It's here in the United States of America. Don't get me wrong, man. You know, I biggest population of Muslims in the United States of America here in Michigan, man. Shit, like they drive from Dearborn, Detroit. Shit. They drive and open up little stores and shit 60, 80 miles, 100 miles away and shit from where they live. And, they go into a different part of the world and then going back home to their community, which is Muslims, Arabs. Yeah, it's creeping in the United States more than people know, man. Because the United States of America's got a lot more than a lot of other countries, man. Because more people are attracted to the United States of America around the world and shit than other countries. Why, fucking Canada should be flooded and shit, man. With their socialist free fucking shit, man. Assistant suicide and shit. Which, I don't know. I'd be on the fence about that. I could see it and I can't see it. You know what I'm saying? The people that are suffering and shit, I guess, you should have the right to not suffer no more. We take our animals that we loved and we know are suffering and put them at rest. So, is it so? But then again, I look at, would God agree? Who knows? But then again, that there's another aspect of religion and God and so the rules that you're supposed to follow, the law of God, whatever, just the you call it law and rule, and it's just what life should be, which ain't a hard thing, but you call it the law, the rule, whatever. It should be what everybody should be living. But you, the funny thing of it is too is with God. Let's say you call it the New World Order, but here in your now it's the One World Order. But the New World Order, One World Order. God has such a One World Order. Not a new world order, a one world order, which is perfect. And then you have so-called Lucifer, the new world order, which is what you're seeing with the GMO and everything else that's being artificially made, artificial intelligence. Hello. Yeah, God got it right the first time, man. I don't know what this guy's got, man. He's walking down the street. Let me see. See, sometimes it gets pretty hard telling somebody walking down the street a nut job talking to himself and shit because he might have an earpiece in and shit, man, talking on the phone. You think that guy's crazy and shit, man. Yeah. Why did I bring that up? Because I don't remember where I went. I went somewhere and there's a guy sitting there talking and shit to himself, That's what I thought he was talking to himself and shit. He looked a little rough anyway, you know. And all of a sudden, after, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes, I realized he was talking on his fucking phone, man. I just kind of listened to what he was saying, you know. Usually I don't listen to people that are talking to themselves to nut jobs and shit because I couldn't understand what the fuck he said anyway. You know? Well, I hope y'all had a halfway decent time. I don't. I ain't got the fancy bells and whistles, but I got the truth and facts. Yeah, and that Alex beat your wife Jones, man. Not gonna come on here and try to sell you any shit, man. What I give away is all 100% free, man. Yeah, truth and facts shouldn't cost you anything, man. See, you even pay. And I'm not being rude and ignorant because I really love you. But you even pay them to brainwash you. You know, with your phones, your TVs. You know, I know it's how you think you're brung up in things just existed, the phones and all that shit. But no, that was all manipulated and to keep you under control, man. To brainwash you. But I understand, I'm using technology right now to talk to, like, I don't know, probably 2 people right now. Probably 2 people the whole time, but it's 2 people that are hearing me. I think I only started off with 1 person, myself. It didn't take me long when I first got here to, because I've been straddled down and shit, man. I was the first one. I was before Alex and Roseanne and all the rest of them and shit, man, to be fucking silenced and shit and deplatformed and, fucking threatened and, the whole 9 yards, man. I was like, way before any of them ever thought about it and gave a shit about, that it was happening to me, but yeah, they control me, I think that the amount of people I have come to my channel back in the day, subs and whatnot, I don't call them subs, friends, and enemies, too. Good share of them, probably close to 50-50. But say too much, talk too much, and shut you down, and let you think fucking that you got a few people listening to. One probably a bot. One's artificial intelligence. It is what it is. But did I let it stop my mission? Hell no, man. I've been in trenches, man. I've seen the FBI shoot people, man. It's took on Senator McCain and shit, In an honest debate, he never showed up. I went to his office and shit, but he never about the homeless vets. there in Phoenix and shit, man. Not being taken care of and shit. And the next day he's out there after that, fucking giving out free sandwiches to the homeless. Get the hell out of here. But, but that's because we were there pushing an issue, man. That one, it was honest, you know. It wasn't like you know, any violence or anything and shit. It was an honest, you know, you call it protest, but it was an honest. Hey, listen to what we got to say thing, you know. And I've been in some that were worse, you know, with Burns, Oregon and shit, man. The Bird refugee standoff, and LaVoy Finnegan being shot by the FBI. Been to Washington, D.C., you know, as talking about MK and shit, man, mind control, and standing in front of the White House and shit, you know. But I did learn something about that, too, you know, that then not learn, you know, like I said, if you don't learn, then you're not going to get nowhere, but more of an understanding about some people are just fucking literally fucking nuts, you know. Found a good percentage of them were because the mind control that they were saying was some pretty stupid shit, man. You want me to give you an example? All right, one lady says that her son's being controlled to steal her car and shit, man, and he got in an accident, but you know he's being MK'd and shit to do that. No, no, that's not happening, man. You know, you got something wrong with you, man, to be thinking these things. Another one was Jody. Jody was a good one, man. God bless her. I don't know whatever happened to her. She was a good one, man. She couldn't go anywhere. She thought she was under mind control too. She couldn't go nowhere without having everything, pretty much what she owned, man, in her car. She would say one instance, you know, people in the wall, blah blah blah, fucking flying disc coming out of the wall, you know. I gave her a ride to court. Well, I didn't give her a ride. I drove with her to court because she asked me to, but I didn't go in. But she was getting ready to go in, and she says, "Oh," and she reached in her back pocket, and she's got the tops of can lids. I don't know, maybe 6 to 8 of them in her back pocket. She's here. Can you hang on to these for me? And I said, okay. Why she had such things, you know, because the hoarder side of her, man. But she had mental problems. It was that simple, you know. And she wasn't being MK'd, man. But there are people that are MK'd that do things, man, being serious things and shit. Look what just happened the other day, going attempted shooting, you know. He was programmed to make it to that fucking door to that level and shit where they were all in and get in that room and shit, and then things happen and shit. But unfortunately, you know, as fast as he was, man, there was an individual there to take him down and shit, man. So, cause he was a pretty fast little fucker, man. Well, not little fucker, but he was pretty fast, man. When Asmund Gold caught him like the ass hog or something, man. It was fucking funny. I like Asmongold. He come out and say some, have some lot of good shit, man. But don't follow everything and shit, man. But and it's hard from his titles and shit, man, to really know what the hell he's exactly going to talk about. Hopefully, he has it in his thumbnail and shit, and you can look at thumbnail and figure out what he's gonna relay to you. Well, I've been watching this other guy. I don't watch him anymore and shit because I found out that he's not really who he says he is, and wants you to have a certain belief that's not right. Even though he's good, he's hard, man, because he's one of them that once again that's telling the truth, but he's meant to tell the truth to you and shit, man. And me knowing what I know that what he's doing, once again, the mind control and shit. But I find myself every once in a while listening to his ass, man. I'm not gonna mention his name because I don't want y'all to go there and shit because he might really in and shit, man. Yeah, so first started watching him and shit, and then got in the whole shit about the Epstein files, and I seen where that was leading y'all and shit, man. People that follow him and shit into endless bullshit of lie, man. I don't think that's even what really kind of made me not follow him and like him. I never follow anybody and shit, man. I don't subscribe and shit, man. But go back and check out shit. I can't think of what it was, man. It really, I guess, got enough of, okay, this guy's fucking doing this because he's told to do it and say that. And it wasn't the Epstein files. It was something else, man. Wasn't the war. I wish I could remember what it was. Oh, well. It'll come to me later and shit. And, oh, yeah, that's what it was. But he's, he's really, really one of the, I don't want to say few people that do research because I know he's not doing the research. The research is being gave to him. It's the script he's supposed to read and shit. But he's one of the few ones that are out here that's giving things that are what they want you to believe in more than other people. Other people kind of really, because there's only certain many people out here that are giving the truth and shit. Most of everybody else out here is regurgitating everything. You see it. It's and once again, without even knowing it, they're being mind controlled, man. They're being brainwashed by helping them out by regurgitating that bullshit, man. Left and right. All right, I'm gonna call it tonight. I don't know how long I've been on here. Wow, almost 2.5 hours. Holy shit. Again, that's not a record, but that's pretty good, man. It's pretty good to come out here for almost 2.5 hours and just talk about shit. I mean, probably don't half of it ain't, probably more than half of it, 75%, maybe 85% ain't understandable. But hey, it's pretty good to come out here and talk for, like I said, 2.5 hours, man. I don't know what my record is. It's close to 4 or 5 hours. One of them nights, man. Yeah, you used to get in chats for 2 or 3 hours, no problem, man. Chats were hard though, man. Everybody wanted to talk, and because I didn't do it with professionals, you know, Alex Jones having somebody talk, somebody next to him talking and having a conversation and shit. And it wasn't like that, man. A bunch of people that were normal people. Well, we had a couple nut jobs, but yeah, get a little bit of cloud coverage. I don't know what the weather's gonna do. I know it's supposed to be in the 50s for a while. That's highs. I don't know what the lows is actually gonna be, but grass ain't dormant no more. Trees are budding. Lilacs are budding. Yeah, we're pretty close to normal. I'm not gonna sit there and tell you we're not. So we see a meteorite and some northern lights, but more I was hoping we see pan-stars. Not pan-star itself, but it's a little bit of gases and whatnots and shit. It all depends on what particles and what, like I said, whatnots that's being released and shit, what color they would be. Usually they're green. It's like the Steves, they're usually most of the time red. Sprites are always red. Sprites are my favorite things, man. They just look so cool. They just look so, I guess the word I should say is alien, they're beautiful acts, they really are, man. Steves, they're cool and shit, man, but just the line, whether it's red and green or red and green, they're just the line and shit, man. Like, when Steve's, the scientists still, really ain't come up and said the truth of what they are, but whatever, man. They exist just like the sprites. Never the sprites. If it wasn't for the technology, actually, with the low speed and shit, man, they would have never been really protected and shit. And then you had your International Space Station and shit catching them from above and looking down at them and shit, That was a cat, man, turning on their sensor light. I know what it is. I ain't hooked up the alarm system to this, man. Like my car, I took it out of my car. I'm gonna put it on this, but I ain't hooked it up. It's got the factory alarm system, but what I have is a little bit better, a whole lot better. Camera sensors. They just go off all the time in my car when I'm doing a live feed and shit, man. Like a cat walk by, the sensor go off and fucking on my dash I got shit, telling me, how many feet away and shit. Kind of like when you're backing up and it goes beep, 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 beep. You're going to hit something, right? Sort of like that. Unfortunately, it don't say what it is. It says how many feet away, and cat set it off and shit. So you still gotta look, man. Make sure it ain't somebody trying to sneak up on you and shit, man. Because you're on YouTube talking too much shit about the truth, Hey, I ain't a scientist, man. I guess, going to doctors and shit today, man, on a personal note and shit. Setting up for certain things and shit to be done. And trying. So like I said, it wasn't much on the medication, man. It, baby aspirin and smoking some marijuana. I know cigarettes are bad for me, but that was about the extent of what I would like to take. Back in the day, shit, man, because you gotta remember, I go through the same process as you and shit, man, of experiencing life, yeah, I drank and I did drugs, man, not hard drugs, I'm talking about acid, and, I know it's still a drug, I know, but, not a lot of it. I tried cocaine a couple times, but I didn't do no heroin. Fuck you, man. Lower tabs and shit. But I didn't get addicted to none of it, man. Not like alcohol. I think that the reason I got more addicted to alcohol because I was able to legally buy it, So back in the day, man, buying drugs and shit, sometimes it become a job, or it could become seriously dangerous, and yeah, I don't miss that. Never miss that short period of my experience here. Not at all, man. Same with alcohol, man. Besides cigarettes, alcohol was hard, man. But I don't know how many years it's been now. I keep saying 25, man. I keep saying 25, maybe 27 now. Years. Like I said, I got people that I know. I keep saying since I got here, but I go through the process of like you do in life, man, growing old and all that shit. But people I known as a kid and shit, they said they didn't think that I could ever quit drinking shit. But I learned. Like I keep saying, you don't learn, man. From your mistakes, you ain't never gonna learn. And I smoke marijuana on two different fronts, man. It helps me eat, and I enjoy it, man. It relaxes me, brings down my blood pressure. Think about it. I'm 63 years old, and blood pressure, cholesterol. So I'm just now going through the process of having my body analyzed. You know, think about it. Just recently, when I just got over COVID, worst COVID I had since that shit broke out. Shit, oh, it was terrible, man. And because my COPD, that knocked me down. I'm telling you, man. I don't know, what was it, 2 weeks and shit. Lost my taste buds for almost a month. Go to eat something and shit, man. You couldn't even taste the shit, man. I knew it was COVID when I first got sick. I knew right off jumps. I got caught COVID, man. Never was telling y'all, I don't know if you follow me on my YouTube channel and shit. Maybe if you're watching this, or maybe you ain't, because 2.5 fucking hours is a long time to listen to me. But I was at the doctor's many moons ago, man. Stomach, and I was in there for a week because they didn't know what was wrong with me. I didn't have to poop, but I was in pain, man. And this doctor came in, this young doctor, not the regular doctor that was seeing me, but a different doctor. And he told me, he says, you need to tell them you're feeling better and get out of here, because hospitals make you even sicker. I'm looking at him and shit, and I'm like, what? What's this guy saying to me, doctor and shit? Anyway, my regular doctor came in and shit. Mind you, I was in pain. I told him I wanted to leave. I was there too long and shit, man. And because they said I caught some kind of airborne virus, but they didn't know what shit, man. Anyway, he released me that day and shit, man. And I think it was 2 days later I got better. But my whole point of this is, you also go to the doctors or the hospital and shit, and like I just said, like that. By the way, that was, you call it a good angel, because when the doctor came in, I told him what the other doctor said, and he said there's no other doctor, that he's the only doctor that seen me. I said, no, the young doctor that just came in not too long ago. He says, there's nobody else that's come in here, any doctor or any, I said, so that's how I know it was a good angel guiding me out of that hospital, because I was probably going to catch something else, and on top of what I already had was going to kill me, and God didn't want that to happen, because he got me out of mission. True. I know, I'm telling you. So you gotta be careful when you're sick and you go to the doctors. That's why I didn't go to the doctors when I caught COVID, because I believe I caught COVID even probably at the doctor's office. Shortly after I went there, I caught it, or when I was in the hospital with the stroke. But I think that I would have got sicker sooner after I got out of the hospital with the stroke. It was at the doctor's office, right? Because I let's say I had an appointment for 1:00. I went in there and there was no place to sit down and shit, and I stood for fucking over an hour, and finally some lady got up, and I heard her tell the receptionist, say, I'm gonna go outside and smoke a cigarette, and when you're ready, just call me. I said, okay. And she walked by me and she says, "Hey, you can have my chair." And I thanked her and shit, man. 'Cause like I said, I've been standing up for, it was over an hour. But anyway, that's where I believe I caught that freaking COVID, man. This doctor, he's a great doctor, but he getting too many people in there. He making too much money, man. You know, he don't really. I wanted to. I personally wanted to see him this month and shit, man. But you ain't gonna need to see me every month. That ain't happening, man. You just, what prescriptions I get, you just fill them up for 6 months, and I'll come in and see you in 6 months. That guy's got to have nice life and shit, man. I can't believe I went in today, man. Almost the same thing and shit, but there was a couple of chairs to sit down. But once again, I sat in there for over an hour for a doctor to see me. I went in there at 2 o'clock, and I didn't see that doctor till after 3 o'clock. But he's a good doctor. I mean, as long as you tell him what's going on, he listens and he takes it from there. Said my blood pressure was high. Shit, yeah, I had to wait in your fucking waiting room for over an hour. I was getting worked up in my brain. All right, cut it short, man. I've been here way too long and shit, man. Almost breaking the 3 hour mark, man. Then there's no way in hell anybody's ever gonna listen to me for 3 straight fucking hours. maybe 1 or 2. One real one and one artificial intelligence, man, acting like it's my friend. I remember when that what was the name of that virus on YouTube? Builder Bob or some fucking bullshit, man. It was it acted just like it was a YouTuber and shit, man. And every time people would click on that fucker to go see its YouTube channel or whatever and shit, man, bada boom, bada bing, they were hitting shit, man. But yeah, I broke that down and let everybody know about it and shit, man. I think it was Builder Bob, but good old days and shit. That catching that bot and shit, man, spreading that fucking virus. That was pretty good though, but because people were fucking on YouTube, they thinking it was somebody and shit. It would engage in conversation, but most of the time, they would just pop up and shit, man. And people would say, what the fuck, you know, in the chats and shit. Because that's where it was spread, man, was through the chats. And people, you know, like I see people and shit back in the day, man, and shit when I was on the laptop and shit, man. Come in and shit, I always click on them and go to their YouTube channel and shit, man. Back in the day, you had to anyway, but make sure it was a real person and shit, not a fake fucking channel that's there to harass and shit, you know. Because there's ways to tell, you know, fucking, you know, a channel just popped up, was just made that day and shit, man. Come in and start talking shit to you and shit, you know. Like, yeah, you're, and I'm just saying it was fucking, a bot and shit, man. Most of the time it was fucking people setting up fucking fake YouTube channels and shit, man. Coming to harass and shit because they want you to know their real YouTube channel because they're cowards and shit, man. Sissies. They ain't like Ben Time Traveler here and shit. I'm Ben Matthews. I am who I say. Fucking from day one. From fucking first video I ever fucking made, I said who the hell I was. And my name's Ben Matthews, a.k.a. I didn't say a.k.a. So my name's Ben Matthews. Ben Time Traveler. Yeah. First video I made. Didn't hide my face and shit. That came out like fucking here I am and I'm real, motherfucker. Didn't have to have, and never, from my first video, never had to have anything fancy shit. I used to do videos and shit. I used to edit some good videos and shit like that shit, man. But started becoming part of their system and shit. And I'm not using that shit, man. I just use my voice, man, and my face. Which, by the way, I gotta say I don't give no consent to use my voice or my image for any reason, man, whatsoever. Period. But that don't matter much anymore anyways. Like, you don't consent for them to spray this shit over top of your head and shit, man. So I don't consent to that. But what happens? They still doing it. I don't consent to that. What happens? They still do it. I remember at Bundy Ranch, man, protesting and shit. And they talk about freedom of fucking speech. These communists and shit. And, Jimmy Kimball's freedom of speech, but whatever, motherfucker. Like I said before, it's what you say, Hate, violence, death threats and shit, that's not acceptable and shit. And I don't give a shit if you go about it in a roundabout way, man. It's still not acceptable on both sides. The right, you're not innocent either, man. By far, I remember a lot of incidents that happened to the left and shit that you're all applauding and saying it was, no, it's not acceptable, period, man. On any side. Good, but they're controlling it, and like I said, there's nothing you can do about it anyway. God already said what's going to happen. It's just in between before God gets here, and from now to then, which is not very far away, that people don't understand and can't grasp and shit, man, because it ain't happened yet, man. The disaster and the starvation and total collapse and the murder and raping and but it's going to happen. Well, peace, love, and understanding, and much respect be that of God and God's army, because you are an army to fear. He's coming, and these things, before he does, are going to come to pass. He wrote it down to let you all know, man.